there's a little kind of triangular shadow in there as well. So that will do for the moment. Let's put a bit of dry brush there. So for that first animal, that's okay. Okay, so now we move across to the next animal. Same mix of blue and burnt umber, and things are some very dark shadow on the left side of the hindquarters there. There is kind of a dark patch of shadow, roughly that shape there, and it's fairly dark down here too. Then again we look at the head, there's a little line of shadow there. It's a little triangle of shadow there on the top left of the head. This part of the ear is in shadow too, but there's a little patch of light. Little line of shadow down there. Left side of the head is in very dark shadow. This right ear, just like the previous animal, is almost completely blacked out. There's some shadow there on the hindquarters. Shadow around there. Very dark around the outline of this third animal in from the left. So that's going to help us define that animal. So let's make this dark in here too. The front of the nose and mouth is very dark. There's a line of shadow down there. A little bit of shadow around the eye, which I've just kind of messed up a bit, but again we can correct that later. And then this part of the chest is very, very, very dark. So once again, the tops of the legs are very much in shadow. So they're almost silhouettes really. But they do get, you know, a little bit lighter as they come down towards the ground. So I'm just going to leave that blank for the moment. Now when we come across to this next animal, there's a little bit more going on. So in particular, this ear is dark. There is some shadow here. The other ear, it's a bit more difficult to see what's going on, but there's some darkness there. And then there's quite an interesting cast shadow which kind of comes this way. It's a little bit of a change in direction, comes down and then across the snout there. There's a little bit of shadow coming down there too. There is a line of shadow here on the neck and here going around kind of the curve of the cheek. There's also a dark line of shadow under there. Top of the leg, very, very dark. And then, having trouble seeing what's going on, there's so much in shadow, but hang on a sec. What we'll do is, yes, so the top of this leg is dark. That shadow actually comes down a little bit further. Even a bit further. And then as it proceeds over the chest, it kind of curves around there a bit. And then makes its way up the side of the animal. And then curves a bit, and then it kind of peters out somewhat. So I'll go to a little bit of dry brush there. Now, let's move back up here towards the hindquarters. It's not super dark up here, but it's still pretty dark. So I'll kind of half dry brush, half